Hey guys, it's Gail with Everything Nash here with the voice winner Todd Tilghman and his wife Brooke, who happens to be one of my most favorite people. Hello! And we're so excited. We're going to talk about your book, and I have to read it to get it right. Every Little Win: How Celebrating Small Victories Can Lead to Big Joy. Who had the idea to do this book?
You want to take that, or you want to
well, it was kind of one of the. Honestly, we kind of thought, who would want to.
Yeah, neither one of us.
Who would want to write a book? Who would want to read a book about us? Actually, after Right After the Voice happened, Trisha, who co-authored this book with us, she has a podcast or a blog, and she kind of contacted me to come on her podcast, and that kind of turned into her saying, "Let's write a book."
We should write a book.
And first, I'll be honest, I thought, okay, let's write a book. It's not really going to happen. We'll throw around the idea. It'll be fun to say, hey, somebody said they want to write a book about us. But the ball got rolling, and pretty quickly we were in this thing, and it's been a blast. Yeah,
I actually just sort of, even once the ball got rolling, I hate to say, I just kind of thought nothing would really come of it, But,
that's
here
just
we
how
are.
we kind of think, just like The Voice.
Yeah.
You got to go try The Voice. We think it'll just be a fun story that we can tell people that Todd did. And it's not that, I think Todd's phenomenally talented. You just don't think, crazy, exciting, big things like this don't happen to people like us, is what we kind of think.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I don't think it's sunk in, because I still don't think we get it or believe that it happens to people like us.
Okay, so I know, Todd, that you're creative because of what you do. Brooke, would you consider yourself a creative person?
I think in certain areas, I can only draw stick figures. I don't sing, but I do love photography and just kind of, creative elements like that. I'm pretty good at, I guess. It's weird to say you're good at something like that. I have a creative eye for things, but as far as the musical, no, I'm a thrifter, like to take pictures,
but aside from photography, Brooke's creativity is not necessarily in the artsy creative kind of space, aside from photography. But that's what I'm going to say. She has really creative ideas in the household, and in even fashion things. She has fairly creative. And I don't know if that would be considered in the artsy department. I don't know.
And I come up with cool baby names. I call myself a name snob.
Maybe that's why we have so many.
Real particular. I have literally in my phone saved in my notes, a vault of names, even though we're clearly done having kids, unless I can convince Todd otherwise.
You heard it here first.
And I just love, so I consider myself creative, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Not like him.
Okay, so did you guys sit down and write this together, or what was that process like?
It was no. But I will say that's one way you can tell that we're telling the truth in the book, because the stories that we tell in the book are basically for the most part, are accounts of our lives from our own perspectives, but they do line up, you can tell. But mainly the way that we wrote the book, because when I first even heard of it, I was I don't know. No kidding, I'll tell the truth. Years and years ago, I thought I had some ideas of some things through ministry. I was maybe I can make a book out of this. So I started messing around, and I wrote for days and days, and I printed it out. I think it was 15 pages. I'm oh my gosh, So I told him straight away, I don't know how to write a book. So what we did was, sometimes I would be driving down the road, going to a venue or wherever, and Brooke may be at home, and Trisha would either video conference us or call us on the phone, and we would just tell her our stories.
It's basically was storytelling.
Yeah.
We told our story from the beginning, from our different perspectives. And at Trisha, we spent a lot of time on the phone. She also researched a lot of your sermons.
Yeah.
She went back on our Facebook and see different things that we posted. She went back and listened to your sermons.
Trisha did the heavy lifting for
phenomenal.
She
she really dug deep, and she asked the good questions and got us in, telling the.
And she also did really good at, I'm very particular about, I'm getting better.
Sorry, you guys, it's my coffee.
I'm getting better about it. I don't mind, honesty, but I also, I don't want anybody in the world to get the wrong idea about my attitude toward anything. And so she did a really good job at capturing that because, you know, like a huge part of our story is growing up in the church and growing up in ministry. And there are some
ups and downs.
Yeah. There are some of those, you know, that's a beautiful bush with lots of thorns, you know. But I basically she did a very good job at sort of letting the world know that I did have some struggles, but that I don't like blame the church. Those people were great, you know.
Right.
So she did a really good job at those kinds of things.
Yeah, she and I'm pretty transparent, so she probably did a really good job of not letting me just go out there a little too far.
Yeah, Brooke could tell too much.
Yeah, we leave every environment we ever leave that me and Todd are in. He's always like, "Why did you tell that?
Yeah.
Why did you say that?" But that's just who I am. So she, you know, me and Todd are totally two different in the way that we share. And so I thought she did a really good job of marrying that together and making it work. And we
our
were
kids
just
are
recording.
Fighting right outside the store,
you talking about your dogs. You're going to hear our kids. We just did an audio book the other day. And
it took us a couple of days,
but it was phenomenal to get to. Yeah, it was very interesting, and to get to read back. I don't know. It's just so cool, like to relive.
Reading it out loud.
Yeah, reading it out loud.
We've read
it to life. And I just felt like it, I don't know, like Todd got choked up a few times.
Oh man, I got really emotional several times.
I got emotional.
We had to like stop the whole audio recording.
And I was laughing at some parts. It's really cool to relive your story in that kind of way, kind of out loud. So I think it was really cool.
Well,
you know?
And it's also too really good to like when you're living day to day, you tend to not maybe appreciate. But as you look back and see all of these things collectively, like, man, we really have seen a lot of stuff, you know, in our time together.
And I think that's what, I mean, for me, I love people's stories. I've always loved documentaries, reality TV, because I love real stories. I love to be able to relate to people, connect on some level. It's like, you know, you do that too. You know, so for me, I don't know, like, I loved growing up. I read all kinds of biographies and autobiographies because I love to see people's stories. I love to people watch. I love to go sit somewhere and just watch. Our internet.
I bet shows something.
That's why I like airports. I think airports, just sitting in an airport is so fun because you can make up people's stories. You know?
Yes, and you look and you can tell so much from watching them interact with their people or their kids or just what they're wearing or how they hold themselves. It tells a story. And I think people like stories. Like, I really do. And when your story's authentic and you choose to tell it in an authentic way, which is really big to us, and Trisha was so phenomenal to let us share our story in an authentic way, it connects with people. I always say people can spot a fake a mile away. Like, you know, so tell your story, you know. I mean, everybody's story has something that people can learn in it.
Yeah, so I feel like it could be better, probably.
Thomas Rhett said when his wife Lauren Akins released her memoir, that at first some of it made him uncomfortable because she was so honest. Was there anything when you went back you were like, oh, I don't know if we should have shared that?
Yes, that's what I was just saying with the audio. I was telling Todd coming back from the audiobook, you know, it's almost like when you read through the proofing and all that and get it all sent off. I mean, I guess it's a little different reading it out loud. You take it in even a little bit more, and there's a few things you read through and I'm like, oh, yeah, I wonder why I left that in there. Or, you know, maybe I should have said that a little differently. But at the end of the day, you're sharing, you know, part of your story, you're sharing a part of your heart. And I believe firmly that people will get the, you know.
The way I see it, as exciting as the people who are on this journey with us are about it, I feel like there'll probably be a little backlash, you know. That's what happens when you put yourself out there.
Yeah, if you put yourself out there, and everybody's not going to
And then, you know, a lot of people are really interested in the voice. Well, I mean, I have to be really particular about what I say and what I don't say because you can't really tell a lot. You know, it's a TV show, so you can't really talk about a few of those things. And so, it's so funny when me and Trisha were talking on the phone.
Way more about
I am over cautious.
If I said something that could even remotely, because he's such a great person, he has such a great heart, even though his heart would be in the right place if he said anything that might make someone think, oh, I'm thinking bad of, you know, or anything that, you know, he doesn't want anybody to come away with it and feel bad or think he's got, you know, a bad opinion of something. And I'm a little more open, but at the same time, you know, one thing I learned like a long time ago, you know.
I mean, I'm a peacemaker. Like, I'm literally like the definition of a peacemaker.
You know, I mean, like Todd said, when you put yourself out there, this is the thing, you know, I would rather, I remember when I went through a really hard season in my life and I shared about it a good bit on social media, and I had people advise me, you don't need to share that. People will use that against you. People, you think you're sharing your story, you think you're sharing your struggle, but people will, especially in the ministry world, people can use that against you. But what I found was I would rather share my story of struggle. If I'm going to have to walk through it, because that's what I told God, if I'm going to have to walk through this suffering, it's got to be for some good. I would rather one person or two people, not feel alone and take something from it, and maybe 10 people use it against me or talk about me or judge me for it. If it helped one person not feel alone and be able to get through something, it's worth it for me. So that's what I feel about the book. If it can help someone, because I do share about some of my struggles with anxiety and different things in there, if it can help someone know they're not alone, it's worth it if it helps one person to me, even if 20 or 30, don't like it so much.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Brooke, because we talked about this when we had dinner the other night, which we're going to have to do again, by the way. But
they are fabulous cooks and hosts, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime. You really talked him into going on The Voice. That was really your final nudge that got him there.
Yes,
Could you imagine all of this?
No. Not like I try to let people know. It's not that I didn't think going into it that Todd is phenomenally talented enough to win. It's just, like you said, you just don't expect these things to happen. And I'm a risk taker. Like we always say, I'm the gas, he's the brake. So I'm always like pushing Todd to try something out of his box. It's just one of those things that I thought it would be a fun story. I really knew that they would think you could sing and they would like you. But, like things before, they like you, they say they'll call you, they don't call back. We in ministry and just different areas of life, you know how that goes. People seem like they love you and then you just never hear nothing back. I kind of felt like, that's normally the case. A big thing in our life is we always felt like, hey, even if something was going good, always the other shoe would drop. So I think going into The Voice, that was a big win for me. That was a big thing God showed me, was in the very beginning, he was like, Brooke, this is going to be good. The bad thing is not going to happen. And so, for me, it's just a phenomenal experience from start to bottom. Let's say that backwards.
Mixed up your
Top to bottom. Start to finish. I'll get it right. No, I never could imagine. We just wanted, really at first, just for him to be able to get a blind audition.
Yeah.
And then it went from there. Just want a one chair turn. Then it was, we just wanted to make the live shows. Then we just wanted to survive COVID.
Honestly, once we made the live shows, it was kind of gravy from there.
Mm-hmm.
That was our goal. Like we just assumed there was no way we could win.
Right.
So once we made the live shows, everything was sort of gravy. We really did like it literally was step by step. I would love to get a blind audition. I really would love for at least one chair to turn. And then after that, the final step for the show was if we could just make the live shows.
And I remember every step of the way there was fear and worry, because even in the blind audition, everybody doesn't get a blind audition because, of course, when the teams fill up and you have no idea of knowing. And I remember Todd just had such anxiety that you've put all this hard work in and you feel like you've got this amazing opportunity and then you don't even get a shot. And that happens to some people.
A lot of people. Yeah.
And so we're just so thankful that God saw fit and The Voice believed in Todd enough to give him a shot. And here we are. So we're just very grateful.
Any nerves as the book gets ready to come out? Any last minute nerves?
I'd say a little, yeah.
I mean, you're always scared that what if you put yourself out there and people really don't like you or really don't like it, or but for me, I mean,
mine are probably different. Me and Brooke have a different, we take a whole different approach. First of all, for me, it's the same when I put on a show anywhere. There's a little fear that no one will buy the book, no one will.
I would say that would be Todd's fear.
And then no one will want to read it. And then I'm always afraid in the major things like the church or my time on The Voice that did I say something that I shouldn't have said? But I mean, tons of attorneys have read these, and so I read all the ones I get.
Oh yeah, he's always he's an overthinker. Oh my gosh, such an overthinker. He overthinks overthinking. Shep gets that from him. Yeah. Shep was just telling me, our 15-year-old the other day, he's like, I see Daddy in the corner just sitting there looking and watching, and he's overthinking. I know exactly how he feels. I sit in the corner and I just sit and overthink what everyone's thinking. I just bust on the scene and just say what everybody thinks. Oh my God, why did she say that?
Yeah,
we're totally different in that way.
It's funny to me that Brooke has told me all throughout our marriage, because I mean we tell some stories that don't cast both of us in the best light in some points, but that's marriage, through the years. But it's funny to me how Brooke has always told us through our marriage that she would rather me be more proactive than reactive, and she's right. But she's a whole lot more reactive when it comes to like these kinds of things, like relational things. She'll just say whatever she's thinking, and then we have to sort of clean up the pieces.
Well, I mean, and there's a bad side of that and a good side of that. Because in reality, sure. In church, I think Todd lived under a lot more pressure of what people he could do and not do, because like Todd always said, Brooke, you can get away with it. People expect you to do something crazy. They expect you to say something maybe a little off the wall and inappropriate. So they just let you. From the get-go. But Todd, I felt a lot more pressure that if he did or said one little thing out of the way, that people were going to have a problem with it. And I feel like for some reason I got a pass, maybe just because I just put myself out there. Maybe I thought I got a pass. Maybe like
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure some people weren't giving you a pass. That's how life is.
Right, but for the most part, I didn't have more freedom in that and I think that shows sometimes if you just put yourself out there, what's the worst that could happen? My daddy told me when I was growing up, and this is my daddy that will wear 2 different shoes and don't realize it, and he just doesn't care what people think about him. And he just ingrained in me. He said, Brooke, people are going to talk about you no matter what you do. Yeah. When you're facing life with going this way or that way, or if you choose to live your life this way, or if you choose to dress or whatever, because I was younger, he's like, people are going to talk about you no matter what. So just do what you feel is the right thing to do, and don't worry about it, because either way, someone's going to talk about you. And that's I've lived by that, and I've kind of gotten where I told Todd, I was like, don't worry about it. No matter which decision or how you wrote the book or what you put in the book, somebody's not going to connect with it, not like it. Yeah. Either way. So
I worry to death someone's going to take something the wrong way or whatever. And
they probably will, but that's just human people.
Because to me, it's more, I hope people can understand, and maybe Brooke too, I don't know, but we've talked about it a bunch, but I don't guess we've talked about it on this front. But to me, it's more I hope people understand that whatever the subject matter is that we're sort of approaching in whatever chapter you're in, I'm not trying to say I'm right or I'm wrong as much as I'm saying this was my experience. Mm-hmm. This is not about the show or the church or the society. This is my experience that I live. And a lot of it, I probably said 10 times in the book or 50. A lot of it is just my own perspective that was causing me a lot of pain and anguish. It wasn't even the people or the circumstances, my own take on it.
I think that's what's wrong with the world a lot. Is sometimes because we didn't have the same experience as someone, we discount it. And you can't do that. You have to validate and listen to other people's experience.
Everyone's living their own journey.
Everybody has different experiences and could walk through the same thing and have a different perspective and different experience. And you can't count it out or say it's wrong just because you didn't have that same experience. Right. You have, and I feel like the takeaway I take away from the book for you is like you were telling me in the car the other day. At the end of the day, what Todd wants people to know is that Jesus loves them and he loves them. And that is really the end of the story. And for me, I think the big thing is, live a great story. Yeah. I think God is really impacted on me. Brooke, it is up to us what kind of story we live. If we put our lives in God's hands, no matter what you're going through, you can live a great story. Hey, if your story is not good yet, that means your story is not over, because God writes good stories. And so for me, I think the takeaway is, just go out there and be who you are, own it, and live a good story. With you and God, live a good story. We all like a good story.
Yeah. I love that. I'm going to vote for you guys for president. Okay.
God, no. I'm too worried about what people think of me. I could never be in politics.
Okay. Before I let you go, Todd, new music and maybe something. You teased that song with Jay Coote, but there'll be more of that and what is happening with music real quick.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. And I'm going to be just 100% honest. I am certain. We've been in 100 marketing meetings, and I'm still not 100% certain how all of this is going to roll out. But as long as, and it's looking like I will, at least through this year or maybe the summer, and maybe forever, because you know how it is. I'm sort of entering into the music industry in my early 40s, which is not typical, But as long as I stay independent. I'm feeling like, because I'm listening back to some of the things, I'm working with Gordon, my producer, and I'm feeling like we may actually have a full album this summer and not just an EP, you know? And there's lots of stuff, you know? But the thing that I said, I don't know how all this is going to work out as far as it rolling out. All of this would be on the EP or album. But I've done, I wrote a song, the only song I ever wrote all by myself that I was comfortable enough to share with the world.
It is beautiful.
And
beautiful.
so it's going to be an exclusive release that is tied into the book. Also, there's a song coming. I'm sorry if you can hear my kids screaming. There's a song coming called Victories that I co-wrote with Tony Wood and Don Poitras called Victories. And we did like an acoustic version of it because it's one of those things. That's why I'm a man of faith. I tell people all the time, I love you regardless. You can be a total atheist. I wish you weren't, but I still love you just the same. You know, exactly. Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or you walk this path that people think you should, or you don't, you know. But one of the reasons I'm a man of faith is because this song Victories, that it was not my idea. It was already a project that they had sort of been mulling over and working on, you know. And I just was really privileged to be able to become a part of it. And it's literally so in line with what this book is about, which is not coincidental, you know.
No.
And so we did an acoustic version of that.
And the acoustic version is
I think I might like it better than the full version. I don't know. I'm trying to decide.
I do like it better. There's no doubt about it. I just love the acoustic version of it.
And then finally, I did do a collaboration with Jake, and honestly, and it's going to be on the EP or the album too, but it's also part of the exclusive rollout to the book. It's just some of it I'm not 100% sure which song goes with which step in the rollout, you know. So
but there's going to be 3 exclusive releases with the book.
But yeah, that's really all I can really say about that. But he and I got together. I was in the studio anyway, and so I just reached out to him. And I said, hey man, you know, I'm going to be in the studio this day. Are you going to be in town? Or are you going to be busy? And
Jake's going to be on the finale, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I can't never. So the finale, I was on the show. The finale is the first night, right?
Well, yeah.
I can't tell if the second night is the finale, like the results night, or I think
he's playing Tuesday night. I know that because I just.
That's the actual result.
Yeah, the result night. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for Jake. He's
believe
such a great guy.
Believe it or not, Jake actually was kind of busy that day, but we worked a plan, and he got in there with me. And so I'm excited about it. I think folks will like it too. And
I think Ian Flanagan's singing too.
Yeah, Ian's going to be on
Todd's talked to him before. He's a nice guy too.
Yeah, Ian's great guy.
The Voice people are just great. People like the Voice little community family.
It really is kind of like a family.
It really is. And you really do help each other and connect.
And I mean, there's been hundreds of artists through the years, so of course we don't all talk to one another, but
the little closer.
But people do meet one another, and you become friends. I'm friends with people. I'm friends with people from seasons before mine, seasons after mine. You know? And
I want to say, I think that you really when you tell something, you put way too many details in. It takes you way too long to get it out. Just
I want to make sure references. I'm clear.
I love you guys. All right, I'm going to talk to you second off camera, but. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for
talking.
Thank you. I'm such a fan of you guys. And book comes out June
22nd. Here we have.
Look. Woo!
June 22nd.
Yeah, we actually just got these. So June 22nd, you can go to everylittlewinbook.com. Everylittlewinbook.com.
And they're on Amazon.
It's on all
the
things.
platforms.
But you can go to all the platforms from everylittlewinbook.com.
Yes.